Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Hearthstone. So we're just gonna play as the mage today, because we need to cast 21 more spells and do 33 more damage to the face. It should be a pretty easy quest, and between the two, that will be 80, which would put me at 440, 3,440. We are would then only be 60 gold away from our first goal of 3,500 extra
Jaina
gold.
versus Anduin.
Uh,
The
the
light
next
shall
goal
bring
is
victory.
just to get a
You asked for it.
1,100 more, which isn't that much more progress needed. I'm really happy to see that we've made it this far in such a short amount of time. It's been, I guess I'd say, a moderate amount of time. Actually, not a super short
Is someone injured?
amount of time, but it's been moderate. Definitely still going to be several months, 4 or more months before any new expansion comes out in Hearthstone that would potentially need that stuff, unless tavern brawls start costing us a huge amount of gold for some reason. We will have to figure that one out if if we get into this weird situation where tavern brawls become the thing that is in the way. Uh, it cost us 150 to do an arena run, so we could afford to do that once a week. But if it cost us 100 to do, let's see. If we get every 3 days, we get 3 quests. Of those 3 quests, if they're on average 40, let's just say if they're all 40 and we don't get any better quests, we don't curate or anything, then that would be 40, 80, 120. So that would be 240. 240 minus 150. If that pretty much puts us that we would need Tavern Brawls to be 90 or less gold if we wanted to play it once a week. We could alternate, certainly, and that would keep things spiced up. Or we could try other directions with it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do 6 to the face.
Done.
Since he's a priest, he'll heal himself. Yeah. So, doing an arena run and a tavern brawl, if a tavern brawl costs 100 gold each week, would be difficult. It'd probably be doable, because the odds are we'd get at least 160, which would put us over. But it would be tight, and we wouldn't really be progressing at that point in our goal. Maybe that is the goal,
What
though,
to do?
is
What
that they
to
want to
do?
get some of the cost 1 less for each minions. That went to the face. I want to focus on the face damage. I bet there are a lot of people that are out there and they've gotten enough cards to the point where they're not really just struggling to get more cards. And we're still at the point where I'm still at the point where I'm struggling to get more cards. But I bet the people that started playing this the day it came out or in beta have enough cards now that they may be getting enough gold each week that's just going to nothing. I have certainly seen some people on Twitch and YouTube that seem to have a ridiculous amount of gold in their bar, and it doesn't make a lot of sense why they have all that gold unless they are They just put a lot of money into it, but you don't get gold from
Not too
money.
quickly.
You only get gold from winning. So what are they trying to do? Buy a ton of packs with gold? But even at that point, they're too high.
Bingo! Yeah.
So I really don't know. Now I'm hoping Tavern Brawls are free. Ideally, Tavern Brawls are going to be free. Let's see.
I serve the Fire Lord.
I should have cast this. If Tavern Brawls are free, that would be the best scenario. Then it would cost us nothing. We could do it every recording session and have a different episode each time. Spells. Alright, so that's 6 damage. That'll get me to the next turn. Haven't done a ton of damage to the face right now. Still just trying to play spells. We may go back to our priest deck if we just need to do face damage. There's no real reason to stay on the mage since it's max level. Already level 60. Right. Heal. Why didn't I do the face?
Job's done.
That was silly. Can I, with that card, actually? Let's see. Dragon's Breath, deal 4 damage. Yeah, I could have used Dragon's Breath both time on the face. I'm just making a silly mistake. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna survive this next one unless I get Flame Strike. Nope. Was that enough spells? What progress did we make? Let's see. 75, so we need to do 25, and we still need 14 spells to cast, which is pretty high number. In between the break, I started the new game of the Steam sale cookie clicker ripoff game, and it looks like it is going
You asked for
really a lot better today than it has in the past few days. Fortunately, I have been able to recruit some assistants, so I've got someone else playing on my account with me, and we're tag teaming so I can record, try to be as efficient as possible. It's
Job done.
definitely what I'd recommend anybody else do, is have someone else willing to play for you. Get your game up as much as possible. I was, even at the level, the way it was set yesterday, I was dying at
Job's done.
like level 300, whereas in previous versions I got to level 3000 and I was perfectly fine, and this time it feels definitely like I might get to level 3000. I think it's also very important that you get in early and you play early and you click, because of some of the bonuses will give you gold as you actually sit there and click, so the automatic farming setup of just not doing any actual clicking yourself actually hurts you, particularly at the early, as everybody is using all of these extra boosts to get you more gold. But I still have a lot of work to do today. I want to hurry up and finish this. Well, it's gonna take as long as it's gonna take. Finish this recording, and then I have more and more Witcher 3 that needs to be recorded. Lots and lots of Witcher
Job's
3
done.
still to be played. I'm sure of it. And my YouTube is a mess, and it is kind of in a question at the moment what other games are going to replace certain games. I'm going to have to take a break at some point in the next week or so and just look at what games I have and what I want to replace those games with. Sadly, I looked at the number of views this week, and a lot of it is Kerbal Space Program. So we've hit that first point where if I was smart, I would do more Kerbal Space Program. But I'm not really interested in doing any more of it. I feel getting to the moon in the 3 different modes is probably as much as I'm willing to do. It's too long of a game. If the people that do Kerbal Space Program edit out a lot, they record what could be an 8-hour gameplay, edit it all out, and show you this very untrue experience. I could certainly do some of the editing, both in Kerbal and in Witcher 3. Whenever I die, if I were to just sneakily edit out those sections and edit out the loading, that might save a few minutes every now and then and make me look like a better player, but it's just not a realistic presentation. There's one thing about giant bombs, quick look at all of them, is they very rarely actually just die. But then again, those are professional game reviewers, so for all I know, everything they're looking at, they've got secret cheats on, and there's a whole level of like, you just cannot die cheats that are usually handed directly to the viewers. So they're not having a real experience either. I'm gonna leave this guy. I want him to keep healing him so I can keep hitting him. But yeah, I need to think about what games I want to do. But first I need to get The Witcher 3 done. If I got The Witcher 3 off my plate, I practically have no games that I really need to bother too much with. So our goal here is not to win, our goal is to do the most amount of damage to the face and play as many spells as possible. Doesn't matter if we win or not. One more victory or loss in any direction is not really going to change anything as far as my rank or what I am attempting to do. Probably gonna skip the Batman game. There's little reason to do it. I haven't played the second game. I haven't played the...
Are you ready for this?
Alright, so smart thing would be to do this usually, but actually I want to do this. Just get one more hit to the face. I haven't played the second Arkham City game. I only played the very first one and I didn't do it for YouTube. So there's that, of that whole trilogy, probably I'm thinking I won't do it.
Intensification command.
Yeah, this is gonna get me killed. It occurs to me right now I need to double check that when whenever I do get around to start playing one of the Borderlands games, I need to make sure my recording audio is not also getting mic'd into the game. That would be a very embarrassing occurrence if I'm here talking, recording an episode, and someone else is looking at me and going, what are you talking about?
Fire Lord.
4 to the face. And then 1 more to the face.
Job's
and then
done.
end our turn. But I'm pretty sure I have that set universally in Steam. This game in Hearthstone's not actually a Steam game, so maybe when spectators hear me, they do hear what I'm saying. Nobody's commented if they do. I think I've said it so they can't hear me though. It's interesting. Let's look. Sound. Yeah, I don't think they can hear you in this game. And turns out Hearthstone is made in the Unity engine, and I have been saying that The Witcher 3 is in either the Unreal or the Unity engine, and I can't ever beat the two. But I have learned some things. Actually, technically, The Witcher 3 is in the Red engine. It's called the Red engine because the company is called CD Projekt Red. And Unreal is the engine that I was talking about, but it doesn't even seem like The Witcher 3. And the reason I'm talking about the engine is it has this bug, which I have seen in the Unreal engine and a lot of other engines. I guess maybe it's just current all generation of openly hugely massive world games seem to
You
have the
asked
same
for
bug.
it. My magic will tear you
The
apart.
characters will have a necklace or a helmet, and it will start showing a cutscene, and they won't be wearing the necklace or helmet, and then all of a sudden it will just fade in, like out of nowhere, and then it will sometimes fade out when the scene changes, and then fade back in, and it's really awful looking, really buggy, and it irritates me quite a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the code, some of the graphics rendering code came from somebody who worked on the Red engine as much as they worked on the Unreal engine, or if they just talk behind the thing. I would imagine programmers that make game engines go from company to company, and they get together and they talk all the time, and they share code, because that's the whole like open source share your code mentality that a lot of programmers have, me included. If I was a video game programmer, I would totally talk to the competition and share codes, because the truth is it's not really an issue of we want the competitors to fail and have terrible games. We want all the competitors to make great games. I would much rather not, if I was making a game, I'd much rather my game maybe lose a couple sales and then have another great game like The Witcher 3 versus have The Witcher 3 come out and be just buggy and crashy and a total flop, and then all of that company goes bankrupt and everybody that worked there that were probably my friends are now out of a job. So when you start looking at it from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense. That whether the CEOs of those companies know it or not, I bet there's a lot of coaching. But they need to do some work and fix that bug and then share that fix with everybody else. Super annoying. Super annoying. I think I need to do one more damage to the face, which easily done. So let's just focus on spells. Well, actually we can use this, and that should
Job's done.
fix both problems right there. So now I just need to focus on spells.
Pass me that arc light spanner!
I really feel, and I said this in The Witcher 3, but I'll say it again here, I really feel that having cutscenes rendered in engine at the time of gameplay, because you've put in features in your game, such as you can pick your hairstyle, pick your weapon style, pick your clothes style, so what you're wearing, what you look like will be drastically different from the next player. I think all those features are great, but if the trade-off to having all those features and having the cutscenes show all those features, if the trade-off is that it will be buggy and there will be cutscenes. There was a cutscene where a guy had an arrow through his hand because he somehow got an arrow stuck through his hand in just a bug before the scene started. I think it was before the cutscene started that the bug happened, and the cutscene just kept continuing with it. As long as it thought that was part of him, it showed this through the entire cutscene. This guy is performing an autopsy with an arrow sticking through him, not commenting on it, not doing anything about it. It's not bleeding, it's not like it was intentional in any way. It's just this item. It could have been a cup sticking through his hand as much as an arrow. And it's just, when you're gonna have bugs like that, when you're gonna have cutscenes where things load in and load out, the guy has a helmet in one scene, sees one angle, it turns to the next angle, the helmet is gone. It turns to a third angle, the helmet fades in. If you're gonna have those bugs for the trade-off of having it rendered in the game and in the engine, like I need one more spell. I'll just play Priest for that one. I don't think that's a good trade-off. I would much rather have the cutscenes be pre-rendered, or you just go in first-person mode and you conveniently never see your own character and have it rendered in-game. But even if you render it in-game, that doesn't fix a lot of things. It needs to be pre-rendered. It needs to just be, those cutscenes are pre-rendered.
The light shall bring victory.
They go into just first-person mode, so you can't see your own character. Or it just subtly is in third-person mode, and you just don't have those features. Like here's 2 spells right here. That's all that's needed. I really don't feel that the swords looking different is really a great feature. Those are just asset packs. A lot of what The Witcher 3 is they just bought asset packs. They had a asset pack of pictures of food. And so that's why when you loot, you pick up all this food, which is practically useless in the game. You can eat food like your first 10 levels, and then it's gotten close to no point. Yeah, I'll play a spell card here, just to make sure I'm already done. There is obviously a book asset pack because where they bought. So you pick up all these books, and some of the books have information in them and have text in them that you can read if you want. They all have text you can read if you wanted, but
Speak to me.
some of them give you some more information, help you out. Some of them are pointless. A lot of them are pointless. The swords, the different way the swords look, that's just an asset pack. That's not something that, in particular, CD Projekt Red spent a lot of time making. A lot of those swords are probably going to look very familiar to people who play games like this a lot. They're going to go, that looks exactly like the sword in this game, and they're not going to be wrong, because it will be the exact same sword that they just bought from a third-party artist. And Jim Sterling has talked about how a lot of games just buy asset packs and then turn around and resell them, and that's not really the case with The Witcher 3. They bought a lot of asset packs so they had more free time to work on the important stuff as far as the story, the dialogue, and the interactions. You're not going to see a character that looks exactly like Geralt of Rivia wandering around in another game. Unfortunately, they didn't still do enough work in that aspect, because you do see in The Witcher 3 the same merchant guy over and over and over again. The same 3 kids, the same 2 types of merchants, the same 2 types of guard.
Face the light.
Make sure we get some more to
Job
this.
done.
I think we're done, but maybe we can win this. So yeah, there's still a lot more work they could have done. They stretched the game to be really long by cutting and saving, and then every now and then they will do something that is just silly. They will animate like one brief scene where somebody spent the time, and they probably intended for them to make a longer cutscene, and then they threw it in instead of throwing it away. So there are definitely times where you just, if you notice, you'll. The best example I saw is they animated a cutscene where they had these very detailed looking fish served on the table, and I'm pretty sure at no other point in the game are we going to ever have detailed looking fish in the game. It's just not going to be needed or used. And so some probably new artist, animator, was given that task and probably spent a month on it for something that could have easily just been skipped. You didn't even need the fish on the table. Or I've seen a couple scenes where you walk in the room, they show him looking around, and then nothing happens. Or when he liberates area, it shows you this cutscene of people walking in there, and then him just looking and saying nothing. Every time you liberate a new area, he does that. That really didn't need to be done. They could have just in-game had people walking in there and had him say, "Thanks for clearing this area, Geralt." Or at the very least, you could have had the person who was going to be in charge of that new area walk up to Geralt in the cutscene and say thanks. But I bet they ran out of time. Just keep playing spell cards.
Job's done.
So, yeah, some decisions were made. They were probably running out of time. I would bet they had to meet a deadline and they cut work. And then there's the nightmare of the just no censor mode, no censor mod.
What now?
That's what I need. I need a mod or a censoring thing. Just if they had just gone into the assets of the women, and a lot of times when you buy pre-rendered assets for games, they will have the body model by default wearing like a black underwear, male and female, and so there is absolutely no way, however the game works, that you could expose nipples or genitalia, even if you just rendered the model without any clothing layer over it. It's still wearing the underwear because that's what the skin actually is. Skin, in the sense of both the skin of the texture and the skin of the character, which is kind of a horrific way of thinking about it, but what they could, if there was a mod, if they had just done it themselves, so that all the characters in the game had that would be fine. It wouldn't make a lot of sense because a lot of times they're in bathtubs, and so why would you be in a bathtub wearing a bra?
Defensive systems online.
Something needs tinkering?
It's either you do that or you put the skin as pixelation. Either one works for my purpose of doing YouTube. What doesn't work is when you have crucial, vital cutscenes, and every third angle in the cutscene is something because I'm doing this on YouTube, have to edit out. It makes it very difficult. Big old pain in the butt. So
Running the program.
yeah, it's just a nightmare, and it's not like that it needs to happen. I will applaud them that most of these scenes have been very natural and very expected, and I probably have done the right thing to not go down dialogue choices that would have shown me more. I imagine if I was playing this game, The Witcher 3, trying to run into sex scenes, I would have probably run into a lot more. And they did help me out a little bit in that only, it seems, only in the bathhouse was there a situation where it was outside of the cutscene that there was an actual when you walk into a brothel and the other areas, it looks like they're wearing just skimpy clothes. The skimpiest one is one model that's wearing basically just a fur scarf, a giant fur scarf, and no bra or top, but the scarf manages to curve just perfectly to cover all the so that would make some more work if that happened, but they should have just censored it. I mean, just change the texture. Quick and dirty is all you gotta do. Just change the texture. That's all that would have been needed. Or mark every single instance and it would be more work to mark every single instance and remove the women. Uh, but yeah, I wish maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe with the YouTube's new gaming channel, they'll say, in video games, particularly since it's animated, if you're gonna be on the video game channel, we're gonna relax that limit. Because YouTube really doesn't care about the animated things. If we mark it as TVMA and all of that, that'd be fine. So if YouTube can figure out how they can put ads on things marked as mature, and then say we don't care about topless animated cartoons that occasionally show up in the game. They'll still ban, I'm sure, adults only games that happen to be video games, whether it's live action or cartoons. But what YouTube really doesn't want, what they absolutely don't want, is YouTube to fill up with live action pornography. And that's the difference. They had to make a line somewhere, and they're trying to keep live action pornography from filling all of YouTube, and thus it is absolutely not allowed on YouTube. And if you mark something as 18 plus in YouTube, even if it has something, it doesn't have anything that's not allowed and completely banned, you still can't advertise for anything marked 18 plus. So yeah, that is a big problem. Right now, The Witcher 3 is not getting marked as age restricted by me. It's I'm editing it out, and it really isn't. It doesn't think it need. I don't think it needs to be, but it would be nice if it could be. It would be really nice if I had a system where I could say, this was a game, it was rated mature, that's 14, 15, 16-year-olds probably alright watching it. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, absolutely not. I really don't recommend them watching Witcher 3. But right now, that's kind of where YouTube is at, is that it's saying, do you want us to say it's okay for everybody who is from birth to 17-year-old, or do you want to say it's 18 over? And if you say it's 18 over, you can't put ads on it at all, which means nobody ever says it's 18 over. It's a terrible system, and that's why it doesn't get used. Anyways, enough of that conversation. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. If you want to friend or favorite me on basically any social media site, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.